It's time to get into the 5 year challenge. Now I know most people think like that kind of cliche, like where you see yourself in 5 years. Oh, you need a 5 year plan, and like of course, while we may not necessarily know where we'll absolutely be for certainty in 5 years, I'm going to say there's a 5 year challenge in the sense that like the 5 years are going to pass regardless. So what you want to do is look at yourself and like realize, do I want to be in a better position in 5 years, or do I want to be in a worse position in 5 years? So the 5 year challenge that I offer to you is: are you going to continue down your lazy path and continue to justify your uh, pathetic lifestyle habits? Every weekend you're going out to parties, you're like stuffing your face with like Ben and Jerry's ice cream, donuts, and ding dongs. You're drinking your Starbucks Frappuccino every morning during the week before you go to work. Is all I have to have that before I go to work and everything. Are you going to continue that and put yourself in a worse position in 5 years, especially with drinking those like sugary drinks? Like you go to Starbucks and get the mocha choca frappuccino, or you're going to Dunkin' Donuts and you're getting your frozen coffee or whatever. You're drinking so much sugar and everything that you're basically a diabetic waiting to happen and everything. So again, do you want to continue to go down that path and set yourself up in a worse position where like in 5 years you could quite possibly be diabetic and have to have medication for that? Or are you going to want sit there and actually reverse that and start getting your lifestyle habits in order? So like getting back to like when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you're sitting there drinking that frozen coffee, or like you get your iced coffee from Dunkin' with 12 pumps of liquid sugar, and like you don't need that shit and everything. You're just basically setting yourself up for future failure. So with the 5 year challenge, that 5 years is going to pass regardless. So again, are you going to sit there and put yourself in a better position or a worse position? Cutting out all that crap and everything, you can start with like quite simply. Like here's like the 5 year challenge. You get yourself to the gym. You start eating healthy. You cut out all that garbage that I just mentioned. You sit there and like you start surrounding yourself with better people. You start getting into better content online. You start working on getting your sleep in order, getting your hydration in check. Instead of chugging soda, those frozen coffees and drinks and stuff that I mentioned, start drinking water. And if you do want to drink coffee, drink black coffee. Or like if you do feel like you want to have that iced coffee, just drink it black. Instead of putting all that extra added shit that you normally put in it, just drink it black. Or you can go to switch over to tea, if you want to drink something other than water, to kind of like, okay, well, here's my little treat or whatever, like black coffee or tea, which is like a 0 calorie drink. Then and you also start working on things like your mobility, definitely you want to work on your mental health as well. So if you need to get into therapy, see a counselor and everything, do it. Start doing what I do. Start journaling every day. Like if you need and you could get into meditation or anything. Do whatever it takes to get your mental health in order as well, and you start doing that on a daily basis. So what you do is when you start to start out with this 5 year challenge or whatever, what you can do is like with me being big in Athlean X and everything, I've done several videos on it as well, and you can go back and check those. What you can do is you can jump right into Athlean X, and you got yourself basically a game plan for the next 5 years. You can start off with the training programs that got the nutrition plan that you can start off with, so you can basically cut out all the garbage food that you're consuming and start with that basic nutrition plan, which would be great to get you started into elimination diet to find out what foods work best for you. And you can get into like the community with like the Facebook group, like the chats that are that just got started and everything, so you can get involved with the groups and everything, and like I kind of post up and everything. So like Now, whether or not you like wherever you are on the spectrum, whether you're obese, morbidly obese, maybe you're just overweight, or maybe you're just someone like you're not necessarily overweight, but you're so deconditioned that you have to you couldn't necessarily do like an advanced program like say Monster Maker or Old School Iron. What you can do is start off with the calisthenics program 0, 0, 2, and then of course there's elastics, which is the resistance band training. So like what you do, start off with 0 and then get into the nutrition plan, start posting up in the Facebook group and chats and like all the related social media that's attached to Athlean-X. You start off with 0, then you go into 0, 2, and then you move on to elastics, and then you get into AX1. So there's your first year of already planned out for you. So like by starting with 0, 0, 2 elastics and building into AX1, you're laying that foundation. So like whether or not like wherever you are on that spectrum, like I said, whether you're just someone who's like in a healthy weight range but you're so deconditioned, or you're all the way into like the morbidly obese range where like doing like intense training might not necessarily be a good idea. Starting with 0 would be like the calisthenics program would be great to start off with, because it gets you in that mindset and gets you focused on like, okay, this is what I need to do, and it begins to lay that foundation for you, especially with the training and like getting into like the diet plan and everything. You get your nutrition and like I'll reiterate with the social media, Facebook group and all the other affiliated links, it gets you into the group, so you can start posting up like, oh hey, like I've just finished week 1, so I did this and this, and like, okay, I did these 3 things right, I did these 3 things wrong, so you can post up to like and people can help point you in the right direction. So over the course of the first year, like I said, you have like a 0, 0, 2 elastics, and then you get into AX1. By that time, especially like if you're morbidly obese, the chances are you've lost a lot of weight, and like you're now just starting to like get into like you have a year under your belt. So what you can do is like continue with AX1 but use the TNT plugins. So like you got one for chest, triceps, biceps, back, and shoulders. So what you do with the TNT adds like a 6th day to AX1. So like you would go through like the normal full body splits of like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, plus the 2 condition days. You would add a 6th day to whatever muscle group that like you're doing, whether like it's the chest, triceps, biceps, shoulders, or back. It would add a 6th day to focus in on that particular muscle group. So you like there's another 15 months right there going through that. So like that way you now have like 2 years and 3 months where like you've gone through like all that, and then you go on, and by then like chances are you're in a very advantageous position for your training, so you can start building on to that. So then you go into AX2. So like after 2.5 years, you already got like a bunch of the programs already done. You've got 2.5 years experience. You're well into getting your nutrition in check, if it isn't already in check now. You got like a community all squared away. Your chances are you're already starting to sleep better. You're getting your hydration in check because you're seeing the success over these first 2.5 years. And now, once you've done AX2, you start moving on into the more advanced programs and everything. So like for me, with having done several programs already, what would be a perfect way to move in from AX2 would be to do the max shred, which could even further reduce like your body fat percentage, and even continue help you lose weight if you have any more left to lose, or like I said, just if you have just like a body fat percentage to get down, like maybe you're at now 18% and you want to cut down like another 3 or 4% and everything. So that would be a great thing to start off with that after AX2, and then you get into max size right after that. So now you have 3 years worth of training and even more programs. So like with the max shred, you've lost more weight. With max size, you're now just starting to put on more muscle size. So now, like after 3 years of doing Athlean-X programs, getting all your other 7 pillars in check as well, you can start moving into the more advanced programs. So like for instance, like I'm currently in max shred myself, and once I get done that, my plan is to move on into old school iron to start building some more muscle. So like after 3 years, you've done uh, 0, 0, 2, elastics, AX1 plus all the plugins, AX2. You've done max size, max shred. Now it would be like the old school. It would be good to get into like the old school iron program that I just mentioned. So you do old school iron, you do all American muscle, and then like you can do like Monster Maker, and then you can get into the NXT programs. So there's like the next 2 years worth of training that you got right there. So you basically have like all your training planned out for like the whole 5 years. So you got like a game plan. Like, look, this is what I need to do, and like you really just focus in on doing this on every single day. Now you're going to like come across like plateaus. You're going to come across failures. Yes, you're going to feel like like for instance, like there was like a good 6 month period that I had where I wasn't losing any weight, and I was so frustrated. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Like I'm sitting there going to the gym and everything. That's when I really got my nutrition in check. So like I had like a hardcore 6 month plateau where I wasn't losing any weight and everything. I was getting pissed and frustrated. So you're going to come across stuff like that where you feel like you're going to fail on a daily basis, but you keep at it, and like you're going to break through. Because like I said, for me, after that 6 month plateau, I was able to get my nutrition check, and I dropped like another 20 pounds and everything. So it took me 2 years to lose like the 60, 70 pounds that I had to lose and everything. It takes time. So what you got to do is like, yes, you're going to get times when you're going to get frustrated. Yes, you're going to make mistakes along the way. But the great thing about the mistakes is like you learn from them. Like, oh, hey, look, I just did this wrong. So now I know going forward, like I have to tweak it to do this instead. So like that's the great thing about the mistakes, isn't that it makes you a failure. It gives you learning experiences. So like what you got to do is take a step back and look at it objectively and be like, okay, I made these 3 mistakes. I'm not a failure. I got more experience now. But then, like, to make yourself, in a sense, kind of put back in the subjective view, like, to make yourself feel better. Like, oh, yes, I've had these 3 failures, but I've also had these 3 successes. So you can keep moving forward. So, like, for instance, like with this being a 5 year challenge, you've got 5 years worth of training that I just laid out for you, and like you get into the nutrition plan, you start dialing in. Like once you get like everything in check and everything, you know, your sleep should. I won't necessarily say it will. It definitely, you know, most likely like 99.9% will, because I mean you're probably going to have some days where you might not necessarily get as much sleep, but like because there's so many different factors that you're going to have to consider on a daily basis and everything. But with this, is you got a game plan for 5 years, so that way you're setting yourself up within. So that way, 5 years from now, when you're looking back with that 2020 vision of hindsight, you can be like, oh hey, look, I'm in a much better place now. I've lost X amount of weight. Like I've added X amount of muscle. Everything about my life is so much better. So when you do go back and make that mistake, like, you know what, it's been like 2 years since I've had a soda, let me try it and everything. You try it, and then like you're like, holy shit, this just fucked me up and everything. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is why I cut this stuff out and everything. So like instead of like just saying, hey, here's a 5 year challenge and go do it, I'm laying this out for you for a challenge as a game plan to get into Athlean-X programs, which would be perfect for you to be able to do. So laying that out like as a game plan for like going from 0, 0, 2, elastics, AX1, AX2, all the way to the more advanced programs. And like I said, the max shred, max size, the Monster Maker, old school iron, the NXT programs. Of course, you don't necessarily have to do it in that order. This is just one way, like I'm planning out for you, so you have like, oh, an idea of like, oh hey, look, here's something I could do. I don't necessarily have to do it this way. This is just an idea for me on how to do it and everything. So like what you can do is use this as like a template and like okay, well, I feel like I'm pretty good right now, so I don't necessarily maybe have to do 0 or 02 in Athlastics. I'll just jump right into AX1, and then I'll skip the TNT plugins for AX1. I'll go to AX2 and go from there. So you kind of have to look at your unique situation. I'm just giving an overview of what you can do for that 5 years. So, like I said, with doing this, the 5 years are going to pass anyway. So you can look back at doing all this and look back and be like, oh hey, look at all I just did and everything, and it's going to make you feel that much better, and and it's going to get you looking into the future and be like, how much more can I accomplish outside, not only inside the gym but outside the gym. Maybe I want to start getting into something maybe I have a hobby for painting. I start doing painting on the side outside of my job or something. So it's going to set yourself up for future success. Now, with the 5 years passing anyway, you could do jack shit and not take this advice, and 5 years will pass regardless. You'll look back and you're going to be filled with regret, like shoulda, woulda, coulda. I wish I had fucking started 5 years ago. So this is basically the 5-year challenge of getting you to start today, and giving you a game plan on how to be able to set yourself up for success in the future by just following this simple path. And like I said, I'll reiterate to finish this video off, the 5 years are going to pass regardless. So when you're looking back, do you want to look back and be like, fuck yeah, look at all the success I've had? Or are you going to look back with your regret, wishing you had started? So basically the choice is up to you. You can either look back and be kind of get a sense of accomplishment, or you can get a sense of regret. So again, regardless, the 5 years are going to pass, so it's up to you on what you want to do. Are you going to look back with regret, or kind of with a sense of accomplishment?